ഹലോ ഓൾ, ഇന്നത്തെ വീഡിയോയിൽ നമ്മൾ നോക്കാൻ പോകുന്നത് ആർ ട്രിഗറിംഗ് സർക്യൂട്ടാണ്. ഇറ്റ് സ്റ്റാൻഡ്സ് ഫോർ റെസിസ്റ്റൻസ് ട്രിഗറിംഗ്. Now, resistance triggering is one of the simplest and most economical triggering methods, but it is not usually employed due to its limited range of firing angle and other issues such as dependence on temperature and dependence on the difference in performance between individual SCRs. What it means is that if there is more than one SCR in the circuit, then if the SCRs perform differently, then the R triggering circuit gets affected by it. Now, let's look at the circuit and see that there is a voltage source, which is an AC voltage source, and it is connected to a load which is connected to an SCR. So this is the actual circuit. I mean, the load and the SCR is the actual circuit, and when the SCR conducts, an output voltage is produced across the load. Now, if the SCR doesn't conduct, there is no current flowing and no voltage is produced across the load. Okay. Now, to trigger this SCR, we are using the following resistances: R1, R2, which is a variable resistor. We use a diode D and a stabilizing resistance R. Okay. R2 is the variable resistance and R is the stabilizing resistance. Now, the two conditions that needs to be maintained are these. First one is that the gate current should not exceed the maximum permissible gate current IGM. The gate current is the current that is flowing from the source through the resistance and through gate in this manner. This is the path of gate current. Now, this gate current should not exceed the maximum permissible gate current of the SCR. It will have a maximum permissible value which is specified by the manufacturer. Now, it shouldn't go beyond that. So that is one condition that we have to make sure that it doesn't happen. Okay. Second condition is that the voltage across the gate and cathode, that is this voltage VG. Okay. This is the voltage across the gate and the cathode. This voltage should not exceed the maximum permissible voltage VGM. Again, this also has a maximum permissible voltage which is VG max, which we write it as VGM. So this VG shouldn't exceed VGM. Now, these conditions have to be satisfied, and we select R, that is stabilizing resistance, and R1 such that these conditions are met. The values of R and R1 are designed in such a way that these two conditions are matched. Now, let's look at how we are doing this. Okay, now let's take the case of gate current. Now, what is the maximum gate current that is possible? The maximum gate current is possible when the supply voltage is maximum and the resistance is minimum. So, current is maximum. We know that current is maximum when voltage is maximum and resistance is minimum. So, Vs, when it becomes maximum and the resistance becomes minimum, I will be maximum. Now, when does Vs become maximum? When Vs is equal to Vm. Okay. Now, in this circuit, in this pathway, what is the resistance? Resistance will be R1 plus R2. Now, when will R be minimum? R will be minimum when R2 is equal to 0, because that's a variable resistance. So, the minimum value that is possible is 0. So, when R2 is minimum, then the resistance will be minimum and that value will be R1. So, the maximum gate current possible is when IG is equal to Vm, that is the maximum voltage possible, divided by the minimum resistance R1. This is by putting R2 equal to 0. Okay, now this gate current should not exceed what? This should not exceed IgM. Okay, now that is what we are going to solve. So that is what's being said here. You can see that maximum gate current possible is Vm by R1. Now thus Vm by R1 should be less than or equal to IgM. Okay, it can be IgM or it can be less, but it cannot be more than IgM. Now by rearranging, what do we get? We get that R1 is greater than or equal to Vm by IgM. That is, we find out what's the maximum voltage, what's the peak value of that sinusoidal waveform, and we find out what is IgM, that is specified. You divide Vm by IgM. What is the value of resistance that you get? Your resistance R1 should be at least that much or above that. So suppose you got something like 500 ohm. Then R1 should be greater than or equal to 500 ohm. Okay, if it is less than 500, then the condition will not be satisfied. Now next condition. What is the next condition? Next condition is that we want to maintain what? The voltage Vg less than Vgm. Now what is the maximum gate voltage possible? Gate voltage means that the voltage that is developed here. What is the maximum gate voltage possible? That will be the maximum current possible into this resistance value. That is the voltage developed here. The voltage developed here is the product of maximum current and the resistance. Now the question becomes, what is the maximum current? Maximum current will be when again in the given circuit the resistance becomes minimum and the voltage becomes maximum. Now here the circuit is in this manner. Here the circuit is in this manner, which means that what is the resistance? Voltage, maximum voltage will be same as Vm itself as earlier, maximum voltage divided by what is the total resistance in this circuit. Total resistance will be R1 plus R2 plus R. Now when will this resistance be minimum? This will be minimum when R2 equal to 0 or when the resistance is R1 plus R. And this is the resistance, that is the maximum current that flows. So that into R is the maximum voltage that will be developed there. Okay. Now that is what it is written down here. You can see that maximum gate voltage possible is maximum current into R. What's the maximum current? Vm by R plus R1 into R. Thus we can write Vm by R plus R1 into R should be less than or equal to Vgm. It can be maximum voltage, it can be less, but it cannot be greater than Vgm. Now on rearranging, what we did was that we took this to the other side. Then we collected the parts where resistance R is common. So we took Vgm into R to this side, and then we took out R as common, and finally by solving this we get that the resistance value R, that is stabilizing resistance R, should be less than Vgm into R1 divided by Vm minus Vgm. So if the R satisfies this value, so if you get a value of say again 500 ohm, then R should be less than or equal to 500. R can be 499 but cannot be 501. Okay, that is what it means here. Now this is how resistance R and resistance R1 gets calculated. Now after this gets calculated, when you adjust the resistance R2, the current that is flowing through the gate current will vary. Now why do you need a diode like this? This diode is required because since it's a sinusoidal wave, it will have a positive half cycle as well as a negative half cycle. Now, when during the negative half cycle, the current will tend to flow like this. Now, to prevent that flow of current in the opposite direction, we have kept a diode D like this. Okay. Now, by adjusting the value of resistance R2, so that is being mentioned here, diode D allows the flow of current only in the positive half cycle. The negative half cycle prevents the flow. Now, amplitude of the pulse means the gate pulse that we give, is controlled by varying R2. We know that because by varying R2, how much large or how much small is being varied. Okay. This is how the basic circuit is being designed. Now, how this varies when you vary the firing angle will be explained in the next video.